My dad was a public school teacher for his entire career, and as I was graduating college and not quite sure what I wanted to do, he secured me a position as a long-term substitute in Duxbury Middle School, which is in Massachusetts, and I taught 7th and 8th grade Spanish for the semester, and from there I went on to do another long-term substitute gig in middle school Spanish. And from there, that was I found my passion for education and for schools. I wanted to have a more holistic approach to education. I wanted to know more about the students who were coming into the school. I wanted to know about the inner workings of the school. And so I made my way into being part-time in the admission office, which ended up being a great fit for me, and the rest is history. Here I am. When admission officers start their job, it really feels like being a smiley face and giving tours and showing people the school. And I came very quickly to learn that how critical a part of the whole school community that admissions is. Building a class, bringing in students, introducing the public and places locally and further afield about the great work that's happening in schools. And so I dove deep into the world of admissions and enrollment management, and thinking about students from the time and families from the time that they inquire through the time that they enroll and even when they graduate. And that's really been a passion of mine throughout my career. What some people don't realize is the difference between a director of admission and the director of enrollment management. And I was very excited to see this job posted as the director of enrollment management, because it means that Oak Knoll is really thinking about the whole life of a family or a child at the school. So to be able to be involved in thinking about not only those students who are coming in, but sort of at a higher level, what do we want our outcomes to be? What do we want students who are in our lower school to be thinking about? And when they come in, what types of skills do we want to be sure that they have, and what do we want to add to that so that when they leave, they're ready to go out into the world? And certainly in thinking about our young boys and bringing them in and thinking about what their middle school experience might be after they leave us. Enrollment management includes thinking about long-term goals and thinking about what different class sizes and the communities from which we draw, and what we want overall, what we want our strategic plan to be in terms of enrollment for Oak Knoll School. And so being able to be thinking strategically in addition to meeting families and introducing families to Oak Knoll is a very exciting challenge. I think the most rewarding aspect of being in admissions is really getting to see the whole school. Not limited to one grade or one classroom or even one office, because so much of what the work in admissions and enrollment is understanding the community that you're introducing families to. So collecting stories and going into classrooms and being part of athletic events and performing arts, and being able to really sort of have a finger on the pulse of what's happening in the school and in the community writ large is really the most rewarding part of being in admissions. The challenge, I think, is really some of the tough decisions that have to be made in the admission process. So much of the admission process and for families is about finding the right fit for their child and an environment in which their child can thrive and feel really good about themselves and be part of the community. And as parents, we all want to see our children be happy when they go to school every day. And sometimes in admissions, you encounter a student or a family, for whom the school might not be the right fit, and I find those conversations particularly difficult if they're not mutual. So turning down a family because either we don't have the space or because it's not a good fit is definitely still, even after all these years, the hardest part of the job. Well, collaboration is really the key to the whole operation, I think, within a school, certainly, and certainly within the enrollment process and admissions. No one's going to come to Oak Knoll because the admission office is really nice people, although that helps. It's certainly an important part. But really what families want to see is the greater community. They want to see what's going on in the classroom. They want to hear that from current parents and from faculty about why they are here, what the passion is, why they love Oak Knoll so much. And so in terms of collaborating, I think the biggest job for me, and the hardest one during this pandemic actually, has been not to get to meet faculty face-to-face, to have missed the spring face-to-face interactions with families and with students and with faculty, and to get into classrooms and really see the magic that happens in there every day. I started back on May 18th, and I started on Zoom, and I've been Zooming ever since, which has been this limited sort of my opportunity to get to really know the school and to get to see the great work that the faculty do every day. And certainly I've seen what the school is doing to prepare for September and been part of those discussions with the administration and with faculty, and I'm even more excited to be here knowing sort of the dedication and the commitment to safety and to community and to maintaining those relationships that really make Oak Knoll such a wonderful place. And I'm excited to have an opportunity, hopefully soon, to really dig into those relationships myself. I was very excited when I saw the listing for this position at Oak Knoll School. Since I moved to New Jersey in 1997, I've always heard about Oak Knoll School, even though it's an hour away from where I live, as being one that focuses on academics, but also the whole child in a faith-based environment, one that focuses on character education, certainly the all-girls education, grades 7 through 12, in addition to being a wonderful place for younger students in the lower school. And that we're adding a pre-K here at Oak Knoll was also very exciting to me to think about. You often think about adding grades at the top. It's nice to be looking at a place like pre-K where there's so many families, I think, who are looking for quality education for their youngest children. One of the things that I'm involved in outside of school is I am a court-appointed special advocate for foster youth, or a CASA. And I have had siblings. I've had two children who have been sort of in my care for the last 3 years, who I have been a big part of their lives as they go through the foster system and are on their way to adoption. I think the greatest part for me, in addition to sort of seeing the children grow up and seeing them get settled in school, has been going into different schools and different school districts and really understanding the inner workings of the system. And it's given me great insight on why independent schools are really such a valuable place to send your children, and we should all be so lucky to have our children attend an independent school. Also, I'm a proud mom of 2 children. My daughter's 21 and she's going to be a junior at the University of St. Andrews over in Scotland, and my son will be a sophomore at Bates College up in Maine. So, and as you can imagine, it's been an interesting adventure for them throughout the spring and summer, but they're very much looking forward to going back to school, and I'm excited for them too. So I've heard that fantasy football is a big deal for the faculty and staff here at Oak Knoll School, and I'm excited to take part in that this fall, hopefully with some help from my husband and others. But I will say, and I know this is controversial, but I am a Boston fan. I did grow up in Massachusetts, and for my dad's sake, I'm all things Boston. So go Patriots.